Wolves 2, Cardiff City 0. A very, very comfortable win for the Wolves. Should have really been more than 2. But that being said, I think with the pressure that was on the team following the changes that Nuno had made and the result from Tuesday night, I think we can come away from that feeling quite pleased with our performance. And of course, it takes us to our best points tally in the Premier League, which is 43 points so far. 9 games still to play. So let's see. I think it's 55, 60 points. Is that a realistic target for us? Let's let me know your predictions for what you think we'll get in the comments down below. But for the game itself, obviously the main talking point has got to be the team selection. But when it was made, I did think, and I did say on Twitter that actually I think it was quite a good team selection because we have the extra pace of Traore and Vinagre in the wing-back positions, and then the extra muscle of Saïss and Dendoncker in the middle of midfield. And I think everybody played really well, apart from Gibbs-White, but I'll come to him in a second. I wasn't too keen on Traore at full-back before the game, but actually, as the game went on, he played really well and probably had his better moments in that position. He was able to run a lot with the ball. However, if we were to play against better teams, and he'd have to do more defensive work, whether or not he'd be capable of doing that. But he had his best game in a Wolves shirt today and I was really pleased for him. And he made quite a lot of things happen. Was very clever, I think, with some of the balls that he put into the box. Sort of delayed and made defenders nervous when he was running at them. But Ruben Vinagre, I think, on the other side as well, was also tremendous. And Nuno's got a very, very difficult situation that he's created for himself now for next week against Chelsea. And who he puts into that team, I don't know, because Johnny and Doherty came in for the second half, of course, and did quite well, and defensively he's more sound than Traore. But is it worth? I mean, another thing I was thinking when there was this meltdown going on Twitter before the game about the team selection, you also have to think we are safe in the league. We've got the opportunity to experiment with things like this now as well, and that's why I'm sure Nuno was more comfortable doing that. Whereas a couple of weeks ago, when although we've been safe really for a long, long time, mathematically we could have still got relegated. Now, really, we can't. So it's worth trying things like that. John Ruddy didn't have any saves to make, really. He did nearly throw one into his own net in the first couple of minutes. But apart from that, again, yesterday was a meltdown about that on Twitter. Nuno knows these players better than anybody else, and he knows the team better than anybody else, and he knows what to do, and he knows best, and let's just let him get on with it, really. Gibbs-White, I mentioned earlier on, not particularly impressed with him. I've said it a couple of times now over the last few weeks that he seems to be he's got one trick. He's got one little trick. His first touch, he sort of pushes out in front of himself, and then he tries to make something happen there, but his first touch today was so poor. He gave the ball away an awful lot. I know that he's still very young, and it's great that he's got this time to play in the Premier League, and he's got a lot of time to develop still. But for me, I think he would benefit from a couple of weeks on loan down in the Championship. Perhaps I know that that's not an option now, but perhaps the beginning of next season, is he still developing? If he was to go to a team like Villa or a team that's going to be pushing for the playoffs next season, I think it would be worthwhile experience for him. But he needs to, we need to start seeing a couple of end results from him now. Again, Jota and Jimenez, fantastic performances up front. They have built a very, very good partnership, and I haven't even talked about the goals yet. The two goals were, particularly the first goal, the movement and the passing was unlike any goal we've seen this season from Wolves so far. It's a little bit like the Sheffield United goal. I think it was Jota that scored it last year with all the quick passing and interplay on the right-hand side. And then the unselfish nature of the second goal as well, with Jota at the back post, could have headed it in first time or tried to volley it, but brought it down and laid it off to Jimenez. Really, really cool finish. They're working so well together. And the goals that they've scored now is, fantastic for a newly promoted team. And Jimenez, we've got to sign him up, really. He's on loan. We've got to make him ours, and I think he's worth 30 million. Don't you? Anyway, that's enough from me today. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it around with all your Wolves mates if you like to. I'll see you next time. I got the. I told you the wrong game last Saturday. The next game for Wolves is Chelsea next Sunday on television, and then Manchester United in the FA Cup quarter final. Amazing. Right. Anyway, thanks. Bye.